Good evening, everyone. System Chalk here with another episode of The Priest as Harold Davidson. So I apologize for the slightly more scattered start last time around. I'm going to be a little more focused for the following ones, including not as many sort of preliminary remarks. But in the previous episode, we essentially got our basic verbs down. We're sort of getting ready to start making some moves. The only thing to keep in mind is that we've currently got a season of sickness, which we're going to have to deal with our vitality. We are going to be entering the wood for our first visit to the Mansis. We've got our first potential cult member, so we can take advantage of the exaltation in future. I believe that's how I can recruit new names, but I actually don't remember offhand. I could also just try talking with the knock verb to test that. And I think I'll leave it at that, but obviously I'm going to be wanting to get the familiar haunts such as moorlands and so on and so forth. So we've got the fundamentals down, and the next few episodes are going to be about sort of filling out the ranks and honestly just trying to find my feet as far as the priest is concerned again. So let's jump into it. Season of Ardors coming up, so we better not have an event that comes up. Priest, for crying out loud. I have not shirked. Okay. So I do need to dream with the affliction, so I'm waiting on 17 seconds. If I have a particular friend, now is the time to renew our connection. And exceptional work. Some days are better than others. Sometimes the sky is nothing like a filthy sheet. Sometimes the river runs clear. My recent work has drawn some attention. Something should sell. Well, it should sell, but it didn't. So I think I earned some extra mystique for that, though. Nope. We do have overexposure, which is not great. No, apparently not, actually. An extra contentment, mystique, and a glimmering, which we probably aren't going to be able to do that much with, but we'll see where it all goes. So, it seems to me like I want to try and take advantage of my work slot again. Oh, but I need a minute. Oh, my bad. Okay, so we've got our reason back. I could try giving them a secret again. I will speak to their souls, and if I speak with precision, their souls may answer me. Alright, tonight no door to this church will close, no lock will require a key, and every heart will be open. So it seems like we reliably generate subtle flaws every time we use the heterodox church. What that gets me, I'm maybe not so sure, but at least we know now. Okay, so I can grab my occult scrap right away. This is actually something that's useful to me, so I will grab the secret history right away. I walked in the wood last night, and the scissors worked in the distance, and the furred things crammed my mouth and swarmed my ears, and I felt the old urge to drop to wolf fours and nose among the roots. But I remembered that I walk upright by day, and I know fire and steel and words, and at last I found where the velvet had concealed a secret on tree bark beneath moss. I read it then with the tips of my fingers, and I think now that I could write it in full. So there's a secret history occult scrap, our first secret history. Secret histories are layered beneath the one that we know like notes in a rare wine. This is a detail from one of those histories. Exploring with this scrap of knowledge may uncover secret locations in the capital. Okay. So I probably need to work out a slightly better organization system. So let's say we're going to take reputation here, moods here, influences here. I'll put locations here for now, but I'm probably going to need the extra space. Followers here. And then glimmering I'll put... Yeah, it's going to get a little crowded on this side, but... Okay, so I'm going to send Enid to go search the city. No point in letting that go to waste. And I do want to take a second here. I can talk about the various scraps and such, but I'm going to wait a minute just to see... Oh, sorry. Let's cure my affliction before things get too nasty. hireling. I found someone whom I might pay to enact regrettable necessities. Add funds to hire them for a limited time. We will not do that. And we've got a season of ambitions coming up. So as always, whenever you're dealing with something new and unfamiliar, there might be something interesting that comes up. So I want to be prepared, but let's see where it goes. You have opened the door of this place, and I have passed through to stand before you now. But this is my promise. A time will come when I shall open, and you shall pass through me to stand in a higher place than this. The deeper the lore, the greater the chance of exaltation. So we do have fervor. Earn my pay, and I think I'll sort of split things over here. So for this point, I'll do improvise on a secret doctrine before a fervent congregation. The congregation is already in a state of excitement. Any secret knowledge will almost certainly drive them to exaltation. So the one thing that is happening right now is that while I am generating these movements, I don't really have an ambition yet. I've just sort of been pushing forward on a few of these items. So this is why I've been, I'm kind of taking it one step at a time to see how different systems interact with each other. I am a little curious what will happen in the season of ambitions. Better not. I must be careful of the company I keep. Yep. And the sick room grows close and stale. Time to get up. I think I messed up the order of things, so we'll just move one over for each. Another hireling. Okay, I want to watch my dread, and at last their fervor is spent. What have they made of this night? Fervor and lore together will almost always cause exaltation, but it will use up the fervor. So the exaltation is something that I can use. Let's take a look at exaltation in closer detail. So sometimes my words and those I have borrowed move my congregation beyond mere concentration to exaltation. I could introduce the most enthusiastic worshippers to an inner circle. So we might as well. It's the only thing that I can really do right now. And if I want, I can take advantage of my service again. In this case, I'm really just kind of taking advantage, or I'm really just earning some pay. I think probably the right strategy would be to use passion unless I want to try and get a particular outcome. But there's nothing saying I can't do a sermon about an occult scrap later. Right, mortal frustrations. As yet, I have only the needs and desires of any other mortal, but what stirs in me? I probably should have taken a quick look to see if there were any other desires that I could have worked with. That was not the smartest choice on my part to just let that run by, but it does give me a chance to do some painting when the time comes. Again, maybe I don't want to be generating so much mystique, but... Alright, a worshipper has dreamt of St. Agnes of the Division. Meanwhile, our devotion has drawn comment. Okay, so we got notoriety for our trouble. We did get some funds, which is good. We've got a sturdy worshipper. Sometimes fervor drives lay people to devote themselves to more uncommon duties. When one's enthusiasm fades, they will return to the congregation. Okay, so I get a follower. It's a temporary follower, a devotee. Just now, this one's devotion is all-consuming, but soon it may fade, and they may question what they have done. So we did earn some notoriety for that, but it's not... I mean, it's good that we got money, but this is definitely not something that I want to be taking advantage of too often. It is, however, going to give me an opportunity to do a painting, so I'm reasonably happy with that. While I'm at it, I think I'll talk about the occult scrap, because that's going to be how we can get some more people in the cult. We'll take Sturdy Worshipper to go find new locations. Enid has better things to do. Tonight they listen, but they do not hear. If you use reason with more reasoned doctrines, or passion with more passionate lore, you are more likely to create fervor. The deeper the lore, the greater the chance of exaltation. So this is kind of one of the neat things about the priest for me. I really do like this idea of trying to sort of be, I guess, something of a showman, really, for lack of a better term. I think we're going to go full reputation on this one. And that sort of being your day-to-day in your job in the priest. I might have found somewhere unusual. All right, so we've got oriflammes. This is probably going to mess around a little bit with my plans, but let's get them to explore again. I don't have anything I really want to get from oriflammes or sell at oriflammes yet, but it's good that we have the option. And I will spend money on the paint because we did go for more reputation. So I could spend money on better paints, or perhaps I could find more exotic pigments. I might have found somewhere unusual. All right, so we've got moorlands, which is good. We can start buying books. I may want to consider getting the Ecdysis Club for some cheap contentment. And actually, while I'm at it, let's use my passion to go through the stag door. Honestly, I'm only going through the motions. The quality of my work will no doubt suffer. Okay, and looks like we've got a new recruit. My recent work is considered significant. I may yet earn a living from this, but nothing is certain. Well, even though I didn't have high expectations, it does seem like we wound up with a pretty decent haul. So I may actually want to consider another painting. So if I can get that extra glimmering, so I think I need 2 lessons learnt before I can... Yeah. So... yeah, this is... so we'll paint Enid. Takes time to sort the gold from the dross, the wheat from the chaff, the blood from the water. If I buy enough books, I will find something interesting. And we have the skeleton songs. So, poems of greedy delight composed by the possibly pseudonymous Arbella Dusk, the rumored heiress turned madam turned poetess. In Arbella's introduction, she explains that the book was to be illustrated, but that the Suppression Bureau would not permit it. She hints that the illustration still exists somewhere. The book is dedicated to Sir Parzival of the Red Cup. So we'll read skeleton songs right away. I'm trying to think if we have any benefit to... we have a little extra money, so let's buy another book before we send the Sturdy Worshipper out to try and find more locations. Can use that passion to enter the wood now. And we've got another season of sickness coming up, so if I can... yes, I will just have enough time to be able to get the vitality. Okay, we will spend money on paints again. We are going to generate some staleness if we keep going at the rate that we are, but if I can get that glimmering to make a lesson learnt, so much the better. And I have Traveling at Night, the annotated dream journals of Christopher Alopoli, sometimes called the only readable occultist. Literate, entertaining, bewildering. This is the 2nd volume. So, Sturdy Worshippers still around. We basically can only get 1 more trip to Moorland. Oh, sorry, 2 more trips to Moorlands before we need to think about what we're going to do with the Sturdy Worshipper, but that shouldn't be a problem. Okay, so a peculiar rumor, if I didn't mind generating the notoriety from this, I can use that. I can use the peculiar rumor to basically get me an extra follower. The alternative would be I could visit the well or the Temple of the Wheel in order to be able to take my chances at getting a higher level of lore. Now, I'm actually not that worried by the notoriety, and I think that the talking about various forms of lore is going to result in a hunter anyway. So I probably shouldn't be as scared of using the peculiar rumor as I can, but it does feel a little early to be taking these risks. It seems to me like there's other ways that I can achieve my goal. So in this case, let's take a visit to the well, and we were rewarded with a furtive truth. A detail smuggled in from an adjacent narrative. Don't speak where you may be overheard. So we're not going to actually use this anytime soon, but it's nice to know that we have a higher level lore. The velvet is strong at the well in the wood, and the velvet is the hour that keeps secrets, but now and then she lets a little secret fall, like a crumb at a feast. Last night I found a moss-clad rock written all around with the secrets of another history. I might give thanks to the velvet, but it will be wiser not to draw her attention. Okay, so I am going to need the dream slot to heal, but maybe I don't need that right away. Also, okay, so if we've got locations here, so this will be my new spot for, not influences, but the, you know what I mean, the glimmerings and erudition and such. Well, I guess I can put those up beside these as well. I've created something both distinctive and beautiful. It will very likely enhance my reputation. My recent work is considered significant. I may yet earn a living from this, but nothing is certain. So, even though I didn't put passion in it, I did wind up with a fascination from a trembling in the air. The good news is I have a fleeting reminiscence. That was from the season of despair earlier, so I'm a bit lucky. Okay, so there's the second glimmering. We were looking for that. We'll use the study verb before too long. I have other needs for it, though. Lots of mystique. Yeah, I gotta think a little bit about how I'm gonna make this work. There's my notoriety. And we really just got the money back, so it's not terrible, but we can do better. So, I am gonna continue kind of running with my reputation on these things. I suppose Enid's the one who I need to... I don't really have a whole lot else that I can paint at the moment. I could try painting my glimmering, I suppose. Yeah, let's give it a shot. Again, I want to deal with my health as soon as I can. Come with me. So we've got Pope Clifton, an acquaintance. A bellowing and unorthodox Catholic with a mystic streak and an untrimmed beard. You may be able to recruit this acquaintance as a follower. We will indeed try. So we can take our church, Pope Clifton, and do a Sarah. Oh, hang on. I can't because it's the Church of the Bright Edge. I forgot. So unless we have edgelore, we can't actually bring any of these people in. All right, let's talk with another occult scrap. Okay, just in time. 26 delightful fruits, the 7 chastisements, the 9 gardens, the 4 regrets. And we have a red secret. Some words are spelt correctly only when the proper ink is used. So what we're going to do here is we're going to take our health and study it. This is so that we can generate the vitality to heal from. Collection of essays isn't going to do a whole lot for me at the start here. We are down to 5 funds, so maybe I'm going to cool it a little bit with Moreland's shop. So we can send this sturdy worshipper out to try and find some more locations. And the dream slot I'm going to leave alone for a little bit. I'm not too worried about the heart here. Oh, I didn't. Right, I am painting again. I might have found somewhere unusual. So again, this isn't a worry here. It says 42 seconds, but there's no way that this health is going to be lost. I don't need to hire someone. Right, my recent work is considered significant. I may yet earn a living from this, but nothing is certain. So there's the extra glimmering. Again, I want to use the study verb when I can on that. More mystique for my trouble. Still not overexposed, to a certain degree of surprise on my part. I don't think we can paint Pope Clifton. So maybe I will take the... It's all pretty much the same. This is enough to give me the lessons learnt that I need. So let's go back to my usual... Let's go back to my day job. In this case, we will do a Grail sermon. And in fact, we can start affording... we can afford to go back to the wood now. I found someone who may be a kindred spirit, but I'll need to win them over. Winning over an acquaintance requires your passion. Oh, that means we're not going to go to the We're not going to go where we wanted to after all. My bad. Should have thought of that. Okay, study-wise, let's take the glimmerings. We should have enough time. Yes. I am eventually going to want to do this with vitality as well, but right now I'm using a lot. I'm using a lot to just keep myself from dying. Okay, we get a free turn, which is kind of good for me because I do want to see this notoriety go away. And then when I can, I'd like to start going back to Moorlands, but it does require money, So you may have noticed one question that you may ask, and again, I feel a little bad. Sort of talking about the different strategies, but for those of you who are curious how I'm approaching this, we've learned a couple of things with the job. We can use reason to generate a. Basically, we can use reason to take 60 seconds. That'll generate 1 funds for what we do. We can use passion. It will take less time. But the risk is that with my knock lore, that's not necessarily going to get me what I want as far as... that's not going to get me what I want as far as the fervor is concerned. Fervor is going to be a way that I can sort of get that deeper level of engagement with the congregation, and then when I get exaltation, there is the possibility that I'll be able to generate a, some extra money. And so one of the things that I'm trying to do right now is take advantage of the fact that I now have more passion-oriented lore to be able to really stir up the congregation and get that exaltation a bit faster. So, our souls dwell each in the house which is our flesh. Our senses are the windows, and each sense is its attendant appetites. To leave the appetites unsatisfied is to leave the windows uncared for, and who would choose to live in a house with filthy windows? So there's the fervor we were looking for, and we've got funds for our trouble. So we're going to go back to the job. We've got fervor, and but I don't have passion. So here's what we're going to do. We're going to grab this. We'll take the fervor. We'll use reason this time, but we'll use the furtive truth. So the congregation is already in a state of excitement. Any secret knowledge will almost certainly drive them to exaltation. If I'd been thinking, I would have said, "Oh, of course I don't have passion because I'd be heading to the wood." All right, the Ecdysis Club I may have found somewhere unusual. The name may be relevant for a few of you, depending on. I won't mention the name yet. I will go into why I chose this one. It's not as the real reason I chose it is actually very silly, but. I don't know. Hopefully it'll be good for a laugh for some of you. Alright, so we've got Sylvia. Again, we can't do anything with these until we get some edgelore, which means that I want to make some trips to Moorlands, but I can only make those trips to Moorlands when I have money for books. So there's a bit of a feedback loop for that. As it is, I don't necessarily think it's the worst thing for me to be generating some more mystique while the notoriety is looming over my head, so we're just going to keep talking about secret histories until the opportunity passes. All right, there are more windows in my soul, but sunlight is not the only thing that passes through a window. So once again, we're going to double up the glimmering, and we've got, tonight I would dream of a museum. In the display cases of the Impossible Museum, I always see an apple white as snow and as hard as marble, a golden beetle in a stern box, a koi geometry awaiting my touch, a black envelope bursting with spring, a brass opera box for instruments of record and measure, a storm in a tin. I always wake before I see the aisle's end. So, there's another glimmering. And dream-wise, we want to cure the affliction now. All I need now is time. So we're not going to hire anyone, that's fine. Waiting on passage, the Wolf Despair prowls elsewhere. And Season of Vision's coming up, so I want to mind my manners as far as the any dread is concerned. I'll still probably read Traveling at Night because I don't think lower level lore is quite as dangerous as far as dread. Well, I mean, it's fascination anyway, so it would be dread I'd have to worry about anyway. And sort of on cue, we do have the exaltation. Sometimes my words and those I have borrowed move my congregation beyond mere concentration to exaltation. So, at last their fervor is spent. What have they made of this night? Okay, so the question is, do I want to try and paint again, or do I want to do something else? For the time being, let's say we're going to... well, yeah, I've got passion, so that's not going to be a problem. Yeah, let's keep doing the trick with the red secret. I'll speak to their souls, and if I speak with actually, you know what? No, I'll do it. I'll do it now. So, I was wondering, it's like, well, it'd be kind of neat to see what the text for the secret histories is, but I suppose I had my opportunity earlier. So, I'll speak to their souls, and if I speak with conviction, their souls may answer me. So here I don't want to generate a recruit. I'm just going to let this pass on its own. I'm curious if I always get 2 funds or if there's a difference. Again, I've done this before, but I don't have perfect recall of this sort of stuff. So it's I like this feature personally because it gives me a chance to sort of try out try it out like I'm playing it for the first time. But I'm sure some people who are familiar with the priest will be a little frustrated with it. Our devotion has drawn comment. Okay, so that answers the question as to whether or not it's the same result each time. In this case, we had a more negative result. Still want to go for it because it did generate extra funds. But in this case, let's go back to Moorlands, seeing as I have a little extra money. Takes time to sort the gold from the dross, the wheat from the chaff, the blood from the water. If I buy enough books, I may find something interesting. There are more windows in my soul, but sunlight is not the only thing that passes through a window. So we can level up our passion. Who desires but acts not breeds pestilence. And the sick room grows close and stale. Time to get up. So I will eventually... I'll eventually start going back through the to the wood. Why am I getting these wrong? I'll probably need to mess around with the order a little bit, but okay, this will have to do for now. But yeah, we'll go back to the wood when we can, but I'm going to need passion for that, which we're currently trying to get. And Season of Ardor is coming up, so that'll be good for contentment if I feel that dread is going to be a problem. Alright. Tonight they listen, but do not hear. If you use reason with more reason doctrines or passion with more passionate lore, you are more likely to create fervor. The deeper the lore, the greater the chance of exaltation. So I've got 6 seconds on reason, but I don't have my passion available, so I'm going to have to wait one way or the other. So now that I have my reason, take the furtive truth. I'll speak to their souls, and if I speak with precision, their souls may answer me. And Moorland has given me Kerner and Gert. Kerner and Gert's Ausfrischlich. I really should learn how to pronounce this. Grammatik der Griechischen Sprache. And Greek grammar, an essential language for a ferocious struggle with a challenging language. So in this case, I'm not quite going to read it yet because we haven't got any Greek books, but that is going to give me access to more in general. Let's go back to Moorlands because I am above my 5. 5 is just a purely arbitrary number. It's you know, it's the one I started with, but it's not all that bad for me to, target it. It'll keep me available for checking out locations once I start taking advantage of my secret histories. The overall goal right now, again, is to eventually, well, sorry, even then, it's not even to build out my ranks. It's to get the edgelore so that I can start building out my ranks. One thing that is kind of helpful, actually, is that if I wind up with dread, I'm going to be able to use that in the process of recruitment. That's probably going to be a way that I can get people in the cult earlier than I otherwise would have. If I can find a way of using this glimmering, I could try studying passion, but because I have 10 seconds here, I need to figure out... Well, I suppose I could paint with the glimmering and then study passion. Yeah, I might try that, actually. But for now, let's do another cult scrap, just mostly because I can. And we will, I'm going to leave it for the next episode to deal with the rest of it. So as always, thank you very much for watching. I'll try not to, I need to find a better way of doing this in terms of the timings, because it's kind of annoying if you hear it in every video, and I suspect if you're seeing it partway through, you already know. But the usual, if you can, liking, commenting, subscribing, all of these things help me, but more importantly, it gives me a chance to know all of you a bit better. One thing I will actually ask is whether or not any of you have tried the priest and whether or not it was your cup of tea. What I may be doing once we get a few more preliminaries down is I'll try and talk a little bit about the reception to the priest and what my own reaction to it was, but I'm still trying to find the right balance on these half-hour broadcasts. So I'll leave it there. Thank you for watching, and we'll see you in the next one.